afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall, I've come to take it all. I'll take it, I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall, I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes. Pieces is a form of art. I'm never gonna look back. was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, 'cause that's what it takes.
All right, guys, happy Saturday, August 17th. Welcome back. Let me get Mediocre in here. Mediocre, you ready? There he is. What's up, amigo?
What's up, man?
How you been?
Same old, same old.
Let me turn my volume up because
I had a decent trade last week. I was happy about,
Tell us about it. Let's get started.
Well, AMC was trading at, 5 and above, and I like to go after, get the money. You know what I mean? I like to really get after the money, and so what I did is I went looking for plays, and JetBlue had dilution. And
JetBlue got rocked down last week.
it got smashed. So I bought the bottom, like right at 450, and I just sold a bunch of calls for some money. I think I could get back to $5 maybe next week. We'll see. I don't know, but I'm all in cash because it was a great play. I just took the money and ran.
I didn't find a whole lot of good setups that I wanted to trade last week, and I had a lot of other just personal life stuff going on with the truck project, I'll call it. So I was a little bit distracted last week trying to order parts and get ready for the work that I had to do this weekend. Options premiums on AMC were not where I wanted them. Price wasn't exactly where I wanted it. I still have the shares that I bought at 420. So my cost basis on all my shares is 420. And then I was watching GameStop really closely last week for either ejection out of that supply zone or a break through the supply zone for some new upward momentum, but it didn't quite really happen. And we'll pull that chart up and look at it in a minute. But I don't think I did a whole lot of trading last week. But, my style is more one of patience, waiting for the right setup. And I don't feel pressured to try and find a trade every day if things aren't exactly the way that I want them.
Oh yeah, I know. But I kind of sat on my hands for a month. That I was getting anxious to make a play because I've been taking my time.
Yep. Anya, how you doing? Anya says she loves your background, Mediocre.
Oh, thank you. Does it look good or no?
Yeah, it looks good. Let me see if I can put you on widescreen.
Hang on here. Let me
Look at that.
Pour my beer, baby.
Let's put Mediocre. Look at him. He's sitting right there drinking on the trading floor in NYSE.
Get her done.
I didn't even know they still allowed you on the trading floor there, Mediocre, much less drinking there live on a Saturday night.
Yeah, they're busy back there, They're getting shit done.
Y'all keep it down in the background there.
Yeah, we're live over here, people. Uh,
Oh man, what's up? Trump for president 2024. I love the name.
I love it.
Anya says, I thought JetBlue and Spirit are having troubles because they charge so little. Mediocre, did you look into JetBlue at all before you bought that? Or is this just jump
Oh,
in, sell
no,
some
no.
calls?
I don't not look. Of course I looked. To be honest, I'll tell you guys, I looked through it quickly. I ran through the numbers, and then I called up a friend of mine who's really good with numbers. I said, "Hey, Mr. Denaro, look at this. Tell me what you think." And and nobody liked it. It was ugly. Let's be honest, and it still is a little ugly. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is that I believe from what I heard, and I did some research on, I think that they had to pay Spirit $2 billion because that merger didn't go through. So that was part of it. But the other part, their balance sheet was a little weak, and they want to make sure they make it till the end of the year. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's so Mediocre did ask me to look at it, and they did fix the balance sheet with the whatever moves they did last week. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't consider myself a airline industry expert. I
no,
told Mediocre that, right? I'm the
yeah,
wrong guy to ask about the economics of the airline industry because I just don't trade those stocks and I don't follow them. But in terms of a short term play, to buy a dip like that and sell some call options on it, and then what's your plan is what, Mediocre? You hope it goes back up to 5 and then you'll exit or what?
well, I'm exited now. Like you have to protect your money, right? That's the name of the game. And
You
I knew there
you
was there was a good chance I was going to get my money out Friday. So and I did.
All right, so
But
you already closed that trade out?
that trade's done.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
But I may re-enter. I may re-enter Monday. I'm on the fence. I'm looking at a couple things, right? So I may re-enter Monday morning and sell $5 calls and try to catch some price appreciation. At the time, I wasn't looking for price appreciation. I wish I was because it came back. It's trading at 470 and change. You know what I mean? I don't exactly know, but
All right, I'm going to put up some box office stuff real quick. Let's talk about AMC and GameStop while we're waiting on some folks to come in, and then we'll take whatever question you guys want to ask. We don't have weekend numbers yet. I'll do a update tomorrow when we get the weekend numbers, but we do have Friday. Friday came in at 44 million, let's call it, which is not too bad in terms of compared to where we were in April and June. July and August, we've been getting these 40, 50, $60 million Fridays. And we don't have the weekend numbers yet, obviously, but as of Friday, and this will not include Aliens because they kind of pull the numbers until the weekend is done. And I don't think it includes Aliens. Let's just double check on the daily. Oh, it is. Okay, 18 million. So we're at about 1.7 for the quarter. And we got what? 13 days left in August plus all of September. So I still feel pretty good about the box office hitting 2.4 billion. We got Beetlejuice coming up and a couple of other movies, plus a lot of limited releases. And have you read any of the reviews, Mediocre, about Romulus out there on social media? People are some seem to not be real happy with it, and others seem to absolutely love it. And I can't quite figure out why there's such a wide dichotomy in opinions about it.
I mean, I don't know. All I know is my wife is excited about Beetlejuice, Tony.
Mine too. I think that one will be a
You
big
got
hit,
you
considering
got a
both.
Beetlejuice shirt?
Huh?
You got a Beetlejuice shirt for opening night?
I do not. I don't have a
I
lot of
do.
movie. I don't have a lot of movie costumes. But I guess I have time to order one, huh?
I got a Beetlejuice shirt that says it's showtime. You want to see it?
Of course. Do you have it right there?
Yeah, give me a minute. I'll go grab it. Just give me 1 sec here.
Alejandro says, I saw Investor Place put AMC on the sell side. I don't know. Investor Place. I don't pay much attention to those articles, to be honest. I do my own DD, as you guys know. And we have a very simple thesis here. Box office is growing. The balance sheet's a little bit messed up on AMC. The company's not profitable, but if the box office keeps growing, I think that those things can be fixed. So on this channel, you know, all I'm going to tell you is, do you think box office is going to grow or not? If you don't buy AMC. If you do, as long as you're aware of the balance sheet and the fact that they are in progress of fixing that, then if you think the box office is going to grow, I do think that the box office is going to grow, and I think that there's going to be some profitable quarters ahead. But that's up to you to make your own call. It's showtime. I like it. It's funny because it looks like we can see right through you, Mediocre.
Yeah, you see the background?
Yeah.
That's funny, huh? I don't know. Just what you got. It's you know how Beetlejuice likes to say that stupid shit.
Sufyan says, Tony, I see that you saw another AMC. Oh man, Sufyan, I knew someone was going to ask about that. You saw another YouTuber at the theater, and he didn't want to say hello. Yeah, y'all want to hear the story on that?
Oh man, let's
Kind
hear
of
it.
funny, kind of a funny story, Sufyan and Mediocre. So I was at Alien Romulus Thursday night for the fan, whatever they call it, the fan night, the very first screening you could go to, I think. And I came out of the theater, and lo and behold, there was another AMC YouTuber right there in my lobby as I was putting my popcorn bucket in the trash can. He was standing right there in the trash can, and I was like,
Have you ever met this guy before?
I have. I met him in person in Dallas when we went to go see a movie when Adam Aaron was in Texas. So I was like, yo, this guy. And he was all like,
Uh,
I was like, why is this guy avoiding eye contact with me? I'm like, I could reach out and touch him. I was like, I guess he just wants to be like that. So I was finishing up my beer from the movie, and I went over and sat down in the bar and finished up my beer. He was waiting on his mom or his wife to come out of the bathroom, but I don't know. I mean, all of a sudden, I guess, I don't know what it is, Sufyan, if he was embarrassed about the 8-hour live stream he dedicated to trashing my name, or maybe he's mad that, my due diligence on this play, which I'm bullish on, is different than his now. Maybe I've never been vetted, Mediocre.
never vetted, Tony.
But guys, look, no matter who you are, unless you've issued a death threat to me, I'm never going to turn my back on you or not say hi to you or not share a beer with you, unless you purposely are avoiding eye contact and you don't want to talk. That's fine. Okay, message received. I get it. You don't want to be a friend. I don't care who you are. If you're ever in town, whether you like AMC or not, unless you've issued a death threat to me, I'm happy to meet with you guys and have a chat, have a beer. It was just weird to me, Mediocre. Like, why the standoffish attitude?
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a
Weird.
perfect opportunity to vet me in person.
Bet you. I love
Ask
it.
whatever questions you want. I'm pretty much an open book.
I would have asked you, Tony. I would have said, why you keep shilling on AMC?
I think it's embarrassment that he spent an 8-hour live stream trashing me, and embarrassment that we shared a spreadsheet with him showing him exactly what was going to happen to the AMC price after the conversion.
Ouch.
And he argued with us and denied it, and then didn't even mention it to his audience.
I even showed him my portfolio, and he told me, remember what he said, Tony? He
I
said, that
don't.
only works for you, mediocre.
I don't know. All I know, mediocre, is we were right, and him and anybody that followed his instructions are down another 90% from that famous day back in August of 2023.
Yeah. Well, cheers to profitability, Tony.
Cheers. Cheers to reading filings and creating spreadsheets and putting out the word, even if it's unpopular, even if y'all don't like it. We're going to tell you what's up. At least our view of what's up. We're not always going to be right, but we're mostly right. We have
Tony,
mostly a correct track record.
That's the thing too, is like, we don't like it either, but we have to fucking stomach the information that's there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not ignoring no information. Fuck that. Not worth it.
There was, speaking of Investor Place, there was this Larry Raymer guy that I called out last week. Shout out to Larry if you're watching today, Larry. Let us know if you're in the chat. Mediocre, did you see that article or any of my tweets? Old Larry, apparently his favorite stock is BNGO, Bingo, which is down 99%, mediocre. He decided to write an article on AMC on Wednesday, and publish it on Investor Place. And you know what he said, mediocre? AMC is never going to get its lenders to agree to refinance the debt, and they're most likely going to go bankrupt because it's impossible for them to push out their 2026 debt.
Well, what happened?
I was like, yo, Larry, you might want to read some 8Ks, buddy. Larry, do you do any research before you write an article? Because we already got that shit straightened out, buddy. The banks did agree. They've been talking to the executives since the beginning of the year. And, oh, wow, Larry, just like 10 days ago, they pushed all the debt out, something you said that would be impossible, Larry. They pushed it out to 2029 and 2030. And, I said it in my typical nice way, mediocre, but I gave him a little ribbon, and then people really went ham on him. And eventually, at the end of the day, he said, "I'm sorry. I'll post a retraction and an update." And I haven't followed up to see if he posted a retraction and an update. But did y'all see one?
I did not even go look. I didn't even notice his stupid ass article to begin with.
That's two people that I've had to call out now. Investor Place writer and professional analyst, both of them completely wrong because they don't actually follow this stock. Larry, my suggestion is stick with Bingo. Keep on pumping that bullshit, your little penny stock, and good luck. Stop talking about AMC because you shouldn't talk about stuff you don't understand, buddy.
Yeah. It's tough, man. These guys like to talk, but they don't like to read, I think.
I was kind of formulating another thought today, mediocre, and I hesitate to say this, but because it's gonna sting even some of us. But as I was watching all the Mullen pumping going on this weekend, and as I've been participating with retail as a retail trader in these squeeze plays, just going, closing my eyes and jumping in the deep end with everybody mediocre. I'm just gonna embrace it. As I watch these people posting Mullen, like I don't know if you know mediocre. They have another reverse split coming. They have massive dilution going on. They have basically no revenue, no production of vehicles, and they need hundreds of millions or $1 billion worth of revenue to get out of the hole at this point. They have a going concern warning, which that's the next step is filing Chapter 11. Once you have a going concern warning in your 10Q, you're basically giving a heads up to investors.
Didn't the SEC already come after them?
I don't think the SEC has come after them yet, but I think that they will. The SEC is going after MMTLP, MMAT people, the CEOs of that. But a going concern warning, when you see that in a 10Q, that's kind of like you've taken your last breath and you're treading water till you get tired, or in Mullen's case, until they get some revenue. So that's what you got to hope for if you're a Mullen investor. You better hope that they sell hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of cars in the next few weeks. But the Mullen investors, the mediocre, here's what they're saying. Gary Gensler, where are you? Blatant crime in plain sight. Market manipulation. Look at these. Look at this short volume. Look at the threshold list. I'm like, you're looking, guys, you're looking at things that don't matter. You're looking at things that don't matter. The only thing that matters, should matter to you at this point, is what do the company documents say? They filed them with the SEC. These are the real, this is not me being bearish. I'm sharing with you what the company shared with all of us. They have almost no cash. They have ongoing dilution. They lost a lawsuit. They're struggling to not pay the $30 million or whatever that they owe for that lawsuit. They have no production. And I think I just want to sum it all up, mediocre, by anyone who's typing on Twitter something about blatant crime in plain sight. It's just an excuse for, I didn't read the filings, or I read the filings, but I don't know how to interpret them, or I read the filings, but I don't believe them, which, those are all bad answers.
I think that happens quite a bit, Tony. That's
what I say. It's going to sting all of us, right? Everybody probably watching tonight to a certain extent, and one tick or another in your life has ignored the filings.
Absolutely.
But what I have learned over the last 3 years is that's not a great strategy. And I don't care. I don't care if any of y'all believe in naked shorts or synthetic shares. I don't go out there and bash anybody that believes in that. You can believe whatever you want, but it doesn't give you free reign to ignore the filings or to read a document and then create an alternate interpretation. Well, what I really think they're trying to say here, it's very black and white what the filings say and exactly what's going on. So you can believe whatever you want, but there are certain things that are happening and are going to happen to you, and you better be praying for a miracle at this point in Mullen. That's all I can say.
I'm glad I'm not in that That's the thing, Tony, is you know me. I try to protect my money every week. I don't like having my money at risk. That's why I trade the way that I trade, you know, because the market truly is a risky fucking place. Let's be honest. You know,
Dan
I,
says Dan says apart from no revenue, massive dilution, and having lost a lawsuit for $30 million and almost no cash left, what's wrong with it? Other than that, what's wrong with it? Oh, and the going concern warning.
but in Mullen's defense, right? They're not the only ones struggling. All EV type companies like that are having a hard time.
That's the thing, Mediocre. Even the good ones like Rivian and Lucid, well, that's probably the short list. The ones that have, what's that other one? Polestar. The ones that have production going, they're struggling too. All of them are struggling. Imagine the one that you picked. The one you picked to hitch your wagon to is the one that doesn't have any production, and then you wonder why it's being shorted. It probably is being shorted. Why do you think that might be?
Why do I think that?
Anyone? I'm just asking the audience. It's a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
They have no revenue. I don't get what retail traders' fascination is with no revenue companies. And then you want to blame blatant crime, MMAT, MMTLP, Mullen, declining revenue companies, BBBY, GameStop. You wonder why the shorts are in those plays.
I mean, Tony, seriously, if they just, and I'm not picking on anybody, but if they just put in the time to understand, actually truly put in time to understand like the fundamentals of our company, the balance sheet, whatever, right? They would truly understand and protect themselves. That would protect them. But and I'm not picking on people. Like I don't want people to think I'm just being mean, but they don't try to even learn. I don't think.
Well, that's what we're here for, Mediocre. We're here in the nicest way possible to encourage people to spend a little bit less time on social media and a little bit more time trying to learn some of the very basics.
Right, but how many are out there like this, actually physically talking about this kind of stuff, rather than telling people, "Oh, don't worry about it, it's good," because that happens. You know that happens.
Yeah, of course.
No,
not many, Mediocre, because it's not a popular discussion.
Right, exactly. It's not popular. That's why, I can't even get a 1,000 subs. I don't care, but you know what I mean? It's, but I'm not going to change the way that I talk about, the way the industry works or, the stock market works, whatever, however you want to call it. But, it is what it is. I'm just I care about my portfolio, right? I'm just willing to talk about it.
And I think, Mediocre, you and I both are on record saying and agreeing that market manipulation exists, right?
Oh, I think so. Tony, look what happened with the fucking whole Japan thing. Like, they didn't open the fucking options market.
I hear people trying. I hear people trying to take our 2-hour live streams and encapsulate them into a 2-minute hit piece video. Oh, Tony and Mediocre said market manipulation doesn't exist. We've actually said the opposite. It does exist, but so what? Are you winning because you know that?
Oh, I win most of the time.
No, I'm saying to the people who are only hanging their hat on market manipulation and just shunning all the financial statements. If you're shunning the financial statements, and your only talking point is market manipulation, you're going to lose in the long run. What we need is some like happy medium where we believe in market manipulation We believe that in the right moment with the right catalyst, we can get a massive run up in a price. But in the meantime, let's not lose our ass. And how do we do that, Mediocre?
You read the financial statement, you check the balance sheet, you look and see if the company is undervalued, overvalued. You got to know this stuff.
And try and understand why Wall Street is doing what they're doing, whether they're doing it legally or illegally, manipulated or not manipulated. They're not going to change their mind. If the financial statements say the company has something wrong with it, they're going to attack it.
Right.
And
They have
it's all about timing for us. Then it's about timing.
It's right. And here's the other thing, Tony, that they don't realize, right? The people with the money, they have money. They have way more money than you. They got way more money than you. If they want to push the price down, they're going to do it. Why do you think? And here's the thing. Here's the other thing. When they say you and I don't believe in market manipulation, is crazy, right?
That is crazy.
You have, in his own words, right? So Ken Griffin went live. Ken Griffin said that they want to be able to control the market, Tony. Did those are his words, not mine.
Yeah, he basically said we're going to identify what we think is the fair value of a stock and push it to that price.
Exactly. And how's he going to do that? With his fucking money. That's how he's going to do it.
He's going to bring more shorts and puts to bear than you can battle back with on buying long shares or calls.
Or if they think the price is just undervalued, they're going to buy the stock, drive the price up, and when it gets to the top, they're just going to sit there and sell you the shares.
And here's the thing with that, Mediocre. He didn't say we're going to drive every stock to zero, right?
No, he didn't.
If you have a no revenue company like a Mullen or a MMAD, MMTLP, they're probably going to be driven to zero because they have no revenue. I mean, it is what it is. That's up to management to fix. You put out a fucking product, start selling something. But other companies like a GameStop or a AMC, they'll push it down to what they consider fair value. Fair value for both companies is not zero.
Not, as far as Ken Griffin, for example, they're going to do what they're going to do with their money.
You know why he can't push GameStop or AMC to zero, Mediocre?
Oh, of course I know why. I could tell you. You want to know why?
I want to hear your answer, then I'm going to share mine.
My answer is because GameStop's got $4 billion fucking dollars, and they can, if they use that money and put that money to work, then the stock price can move.
And what does AMC have for it?
Well, I don't understand the question.
What does AMC have going for it that they can't push it to zero?
They have a strong fucking box office.
Right. They have growing revenue.
Which matters with AMC.
They have growing revenue.
What does box office equal, Tony? Tell them. It equals revenue, future revenue. That's what it means.
And the thing is, with those two scenarios, GameStop having $4 billion in cash, even though the revenue's declining, and AMC having growing revenue on the brink of profitability, the thing is, there are market participants that are smart enough to see that. And so no short is going to be able to drive these stocks to zero because at some point it will be a good buy. Whether that's $10 for GameStop, 14, 18, whether that's 250, 3, 4, 5 for AMC, at some point the shorts are going to lose to someone else with big money saying, well, fuck it, I'm going to buy it here because you pushed it down too much.
Exactly.
But if you're dealing with a company like Bed Bath & Beyond, Mullen, MMAT, there's no support because, I mean, you could look at their financials a year ago and know that it was going in the toilet. So no one's going to come in and backstop that. Those will be driven to zero.
You know what my kid said to me today, as a matter of fact, one of my sons. He said, oh shit. He goes, Dad, you know what Thinkorswim told me? I didn't find this on Thinkorswim, but he obviously seen it somewhere. I'll have to ask him, but he's like, Thinkorswim says that AMC is only worth $2, which on paper it probably is, right? But it's not worth $2. It's trading at $5. So we're at the proper value. So I said to him, I said, dude, you still willing to buy it at $5? He goes, yeah. I said, then what do you give a fuck if they say it's worth $2? Then it doesn't matter, right? That's the thing. Like we do a lot of looking into that to get a fair value of the stock that we think is a pretty fair value. I think we're in range, right? I think the market cap's 1.8 billion right now, something like that, and it's been hovering around that market cap for a while.
Let's pull up the chart and look at it while we're talking to AMC.
And the only reason why I'm not in AMC right now, for the audience, is because I get more bang for my buck with JetBlue at the moment because it's less than AMC. So I'm playing a game, basically like arbitrage. If I could buy X amount of shares of AMC at $5, I can buy X amount of shares of JetBlue at 450. You see what I'm saying? Like there's a 50-cent difference in there that could accumulate to quite a bit of money. And by doing that, I can end up with more shares of AMC. That's the reason why I'm doing it. It's kind of like, I guess you could look at it like an arbitrage play, kind of.
You are correct. Market cap is 1.8 billion.
How did I know that, Tony?
I don't know. I guess you pay attention to it. So we closed at $4.99 on Friday. Mediocre, what did I tell you on Friday morning when the market opened that we would close at on AMC?
You said $5.
I was wrong. It was $4.99.
Listen, I got people complaining to me right now. People are pissed because they sold puts, right? They sold puts and then it closed under $5, $4.99, and they still didn't get the shares. So they're not happy because they wanted the shares, right? But sometimes that can happen. That is what it is. You're talking a penny difference, but it's up to the person who is buying the shares, if they're willing to give them up, right? They have to be willing to give them up.
Yep. I'll get to your question in a second, Wedmore. We'll get back to GameStop. Let's talk about this AMC chart. So we've been trading in this range now, Mediocre, for a month. Mm-hmm. No, wait. Is that right? May 16th, June, July, August. 3 months. 3 months we've been stuck in this range between 438 and let's say 560, 570. Why do you think that is? And the audience, you guys can throw in your comments too.
Why do I think that is?
Yeah, let's talk about it for a second.
I think because that's where the value is in the stock at this price at the moment, right? Because of the balance sheet, right? We don't have positive earnings yet. We're already overvalued if you actually crunch the numbers. You see that too, right? But with that saying, people are factoring in future earnings, which is why we're trading around this price. I would speculate, in my opinion, I'll just tell you guys, I don't know that this is going to happen, but I'm thinking by the end of 2024, we'll be between $6 and $8 somewhere. That's what I believe. What do you think, Tony? I mean, I don't know what else to say to that, right? Once we get Q3 earnings and we have what could be a positive quarter, I don't know that it will be, right? But it will be close, right?
I think if we get over 2.45 billion, we'll have a positive quarter.
Right. Well, but how much positive you thinking? You
Well,
got to ask.
2.45 is break even. So
Right.
if we get 2.6, 2.7, 3 billion, I mean, people have very high hopes for Q3, way
So
higher than me.
an EPS of 1, which is positive earnings, right? 1 penny.
Yeah, I'm just happy to not have a loss. Like I want to see no cash burn. That's
And
what I
when
want
that
to see.
happens, in Q4 we should be profitable, right?
I mean, we have a shot of no cash burn in Q3.
Yeah.
We have a chance of positive cash flow in Q4, I think.
Right.
I'd be ecstatic to have positive free cash flow in both quarters. So go see some damn movies, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to see get kicked out of this range, I think mediocre. My belief is we're probably yeah. People were talking about, but Tony, on the daily, we're above the 200 moving average. Okay, but did anything fundamentally change with the company? I mean, that is a potential bullish technical thing on the chart. I agree, but are we going to have loss this quarter? Did we pay off any more debt? They got the debt deal done, but it's not wrapped up with a bow yet. There's still a couple hundred million of that 10-12 pick toggle that needs to be addressed. There is still, this is what the analysts are sniping about. There's still the risk of more dilution, mediocre.
Yeah.
And I can't disagree with them yet. I can only, just in my view, be patient, pray that the box office is big enough that we have positive free cash flow and the AMC uses some of that to attack that 10-12 pick toggle remaining debt instead of additional debt for equity swaps. That would be my ideal scenario. And I think everybody's just kind of sitting on the sidelines, even the big money. Like, it's not a great short right here because what if the next 2 quarters are positive, mediocre? You'd be kind of dumb to short it.
Yeah.
But what if they're not? So I think everybody's just being careful. The big money guys, they're like, we got all the time in the world. Let's see what happens over the next couple of weeks into Beetlejuice. That's what I think.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at. Let me generate some money somewhere else. Because options kind of, the premiums kind of got a little low. You've noticed, right?
Very low.
Right.
I haven't done any real options trading on AMC in the past couple of weeks. I did buy some here on August 5th, just cash, because the price spiked down real quick, right into these green zones where I have identified to you guys that I'd be willing to buy. So I did, but
that was a great buy. Good job.
for me, the options premium to sell puts and buy shares that way, the premium is so low the past couple of weeks that I don't want to tie up my cash for a couple pennies. So I haven't been doing any options sales.
Which is why I moved on real quick. Go to something that's got the the premiums. It's got the volatility. Suck up some of that money real quick and get out.
So mediocre, this purple line coming down here is the 200 moving average. You and I were having a talk about this offline earlier in the week, and I pointed this out to you. And share with the folks what your response was.
So
because a lot of people, mediocre, are hitting me up saying, Tony, what about that 200? And we're above it now. Shouldn't this thing just rocket?
So that's a simple moving average, right?
Yes.
And it is true. Like if you can Google this yourself, it'll tell you that if the stock price is above the 200 on the daily time frame, it's a bullish indicator. That is true, right? I don't specifically use the simple moving average. I use the exponential moving average. So my moving average is not even close to the stock price.
So you use the 200 EMA, not the 200 MA.
Correct.
And tell us where that is at right now on the daily.
It's at $10.
$10 is the EMA. So the difference between the EMA and the moving average, the exponential and the simple, is that the EMA gives more weight to
Most recent,
current time frames, right?
yes, most recent candles, daily candles.
So
Right.
that we don't know the trading algos that are any of them that are looking at technical indicators. Are they looking at the 200 simple or the 200 EMA? Maybe for them, this is not a buy signal yet.
Yeah,
Or
I would think that it's usually it is an indication that um, a company usually stays right around the 200 simple moving average. That is true, right? Like I expect the simple moving average to stay pretty close to the stock price. I don't see that much movement, but who knows? Maybe you get, that's the thing. These things bring in day traders, right? Like they bring in traders that are going to come in and try to take advantage of volatility because these type of um, technicals happen, right? They're looking for a technical move. I just don't know that if you look at the volume on AMC, it's been extremely low. So, I mean, how many people are stepping in to buy this thing right here, Tony, right?
yep.
Ultimately, if you look at fundamentals, it'll tell you that it's only worth $2 or whatever it is, right? $3. I don't know what they say. I don't pay that no mind, to be honest with you guys. Um, I care more about future. We're looking ahead. That's what I see. So I don't know. I took it with a grain of salt. I know people were talking about it, and hey, maybe I'm wrong.
AMC Hawkeye says, I see people spamming about OBV. Does that shit mean anything? I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible, Hawkeye, and I'm going to put a link to my video from a year ago about OBV. If someone is talking about OBV, it tells me they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That's the nicest way I can say it.
What are you trying to say, Tony? That there's not a
OBV is in a squeeze play stock. If you're going back and including the OBV from 2021, oh, it ran up. And look, the OBV never came down. If you're talking about that, that tells me you don't understand how OBV is calculated and you don't understand why it's not coming down because there's just never been any high volume red days. Now, if you want to say, Tony, I'm just looking at OBV only in the last 30 days. All right, fair enough. Maybe a little bit more accurate then. But if you're stretching it all the way back to include some anomaly event where OBV gets it set incorrectly because you had a massive spike in volume on a green day, you don't understand how OBV works. So it's not a useful tool, in my opinion, unless you're using it in a short time frame or you're using it in a stock that is not a short squeeze stock.
I don't use a lot of indicators. I actually use very few indicators. I'll tell you what they are. I use MACD is one of my favorites. I use RSI and I use Vortex indicator because Vortex indicator responds a little bit quicker on a change of direction, on a rebound or or if a stock is going to roll over quickly, that shows a little bit quicker than MACD does. So I use them together. I also use moving averages, right? 1348, 200. That's pretty much what I use.
I see a lot of people talking about the volume mediocre. Oh, the volume's so low. You know, they're setting up a spring. The trap is about to be sprung. And I'm going back and like looking at the volume. I mean, it's not really that low. This is weekly volume here that I'm looking at. We have low volume, but not historically low. I mean, look at by week in 2023. The volume 20 million shares, 12 million shares.
What do you make of the low volume, Tony? Why do you think that is?
I just think there's no interest in trading this stock right now in this range until there's some news that reignites interest. And that's probably going to be news related to box office or some news that the company announces.
I mean, I kind of agree with you, right? Like, you have low volume because people exited and took their money and are moving it elsewhere, right? Because in this range, it's tough to make money. You know, the stock doesn't want to break below $5. We've seen that every time it does it recovers quickly, and that's a good sign for shareholders. I like that. But if you you know, we have a hard ceiling on top of it. You know, you get to 515, 515, 520, 530 area, and it rejects, right? And we don't have anything to really give us that push up yet, you know. And I think that is part of the problem. So people could see the tight range that it's trading in, and it's hard to make money there. So they just kind of go somewhere else. I mean, I did temporarily.
I'm not going to buy at $5 mediocre if I think the highest it's going to go is 540 until we have news. I'd rather be patient and hope that it drops back down to 430 again, you know?
Right.
Let there be no volume, you know? Let people get tired of it. Let the price come down on no news. Thank you. As long as I believe that the box office is going to be good, I'll buy down in these green ranges.
I mean, I think the box office is doing just fine, right? I just think that that's the thing is people just want to eliminate the time, right? The fact of the matter is AMC doesn't have the cash yet, right? And they're not going to have the cash until the movies are seen, right? So, for example, Beetlejuice, right? Like Beetlejuice is expected to make them a certain amount of money, but they don't have that money yet. That money's not in their account. It's not going to be in their account till we get to that date. So that time matters. So, you know, they're not going to just push the stock up because of, you know, oh, just in case it, you know, it could be worth more money. It all depends on how much revenue the company makes. That's the bottom line. And I used to hate that, right? I think that AMC could be, you know, it's undervalued because I think that, you know, next year it could be worth quite a bit more than what it's trading at. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say exactly what I think because, you know, it depends on what happens. A lot can change between now and then. That's the other thing, right? You never know what's going to happen. Anything can happen between now and then. You know, so we got to see what happens between this time we're in now until then. That's just the bottom line. You know, and then we'll start to see moves on the stock. I think it's going to move. It's just a matter of time.
Tedward says, any thoughts about Warren Buffett buying Sirius? I've seen people talking about it. I haven't looked into it, so no thoughts at the moment. We have looked at Sirius a couple times over the past few months, but I'm not super familiar with their financials. I just don't remember them. I know that we've looked at it, but I don't have recall of what our outcome was other than I didn't buy it. So maybe he sees something there. Let's
the
go
problem with
to,
Sirius is,
go
you
ahead.
know,
What?
the problem I see with Sirius as far as a user concern, and I think that they lost a lot of customer base because they raised prices and stuff like that, right? Like they
That's why I canceled my Mediocre.
same. That's why I brought it up, right? Like that that hurt the company, I think. So that could maybe he's plans on changing it. I don't know I don't know anything about it. I'm just talking just to talk. I think that Sirius as a company, that the product that they have, I think is good. I just think that it's overpriced, and they need to find a way to fix that.
Wedmore, let's shift for a minute to GameStop. He says, how long do you think Ryan has to make significant announcement until the wind goes out of their sails? Would an announcement of investing in company X in 2025 be worth taking notice or too late? So a couple thoughts about GameStop. As you guys can see on the chart here, and going back 2 years, I've only been swing trading GameStop 90% of the time. Profitable trades. One time was a break even. And that I switched up my GameStop trading when they did the 4-for-1 split. I switched from holding to let's read the room here. Revenue's declining. This thing's in a spiral the wrong direction. So not popular with the buy and hold GameStop people. That's fine. I'm not popular with a lot of people, but I'm making money in the trade. I don't hate GameStop. I'm just calling it for what it is. $4 billion in cash and no debt is an excellent balance sheet, Woodmore. But the problem GameStop has, and this is undeniable, is they're in a core business decline. You can go look at the revenue chart. It's indisputable. Their software sales are down 50% from 5, 6, 7 years ago. Sure, collectibles and other is up, but it's only up in terms of percentage because software's fallen so much. And I don't know what changes that. So Ryan has to transform the company, and he's got $4 billion in cash to do it. So when do things change for GameStop? There is no bankruptcy thesis, first of all. No debt, $4 billion in cash. They could survive, even with a tiny footprint. They could survive a long, long time. But Wall Street is going to punish them and continue spanking them for declining revenue. And a couple pennies profit is irrelevant. So what? And their core business is not profitable. The only reason they're making money is because they're investing some of their cash in treasuries. So what's he going to transform it to? That's when you find out what the new price of GameStop is going to be. How long does he have to do that? He's got a long time. He could wait a year for the right buy, and it's not going to hurt anything other than people that are buying at $25-$30. Like, why are y'all doing that? It's the price. If the longer Ryan Cohen waits and the more quarters they just keep reporting core business decline, the price is going to get wrung down. How can they stem the bleeding? They could invest some of that $4 billion in treasuries or profitable stock if they could find one. So I think a patient attitude and a non-emotional one is good for GameStop. Like I said, I don't hate it. I bought some at $29 back on June 3rd, sold it at $60 and $43. Bought some more at $19 on that Monday that it dropped, and I sold it the next day. And right now I'm just waiting I'd like to buy in the green zone. And we got some bullish candles on the daily. If it breaks through this red zone, I might buy and see if it can keep going up. Back up to 29, but I'm mostly expecting, look at this daily candle mediocre. None of these are super bullish daily candles. Can you see these? Is he still there? Oh, he stepped away. All right, let me hide this comment. None of these are, to me, super bullish daily candles. So my general thought is this thing is still likely to reject down out of this supply zone, back down into the green, where I would be a buyer down in here somewhere again. But like I said, if it pushes all the way through this, I might take a swing, see if it can keep going. But I haven't yet, because for me right now, this is still, it's in a zone where it's most likely to reject and get pushed back down. What's up, J Stars? Yolo Ono says GME needs to go digital and team up with Steam. Oh, the other thing that I want to talk about GameStop, I did spend some of my free time in the past week really digging in deep dive into the trading card business, that new segment that they have. And I hope to early next week have maybe a video for you guys on that, summarizing everything I've learned, talking to actual trading card shops, talking to numerous GameStop employees, talking to card traders, talking to card YouTubers, talking to card web store owners. I'm not just going to sit here and tell you guys, oh, look, they've got 5,000 trading cards on their website. We're going to make $300 million on trading cards in GameStop. I think that is very dangerous DD. If that's the extent of your DD, looking at how many cards they have for sale on their website, you might be setting yourself up for some disappointment. So I'm trying to do it the proper way. And I've learned a lot. I've actually got some good ideas from the GameStop employees about ways that they could improve it. And I'll share those with you guys. But I need maybe another day or two, and I'll put out that video.
Cheers, mofo.
Cheers, amigo. Mediocre, while you were away, I was asking you a question about the chart that I have on the screen here. This is the daily chart of GameStop. What do you think? What do you think when you see candles that look like this?
Well, if they got wicks on the top of them, that tells me that it's got some selling pressure up there.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
See those wicks?
Again, there's a lot of people saying the same thing for GameStop as AMC mediocre, that the price is going up and the volume is declining. Therefore, the pressure cooker is building, and this thing's about ready to rocket. And all I see is this thing running out of steam.
That's what I kind of think happens, right?
Now, we could be wrong. I'm just giving you my opinion. But I'm not seeing strong indications of this thing about ready to blast off. Let's look at the MACD and the RSI.
Unless Roaring Kitty comes back.
Unless Roaring Kitty. Yeah, I've been saying that for weeks. Roaring Kitty
And
or Ryan Cohen could change the dynamic in this real quick.
when I say that, the stock can't, I don't, not that it can't, but what I see it, kind of dying off, leveling off, right? Because that's kind of what I see. I know Tony agrees with me on that, but then Roaring Kitty comes out and the thing runs up like it's. People like to say, "Oh, it was going to do that anyways. It had nothing to do with Roaring Kitty." Like that shit makes me laugh.
Give me a break.
That shit makes me laugh, man. So who knows? Maybe he'll come back and you guys will be happy. But I mean, I'm happy if he comes back. I like to see people make money. I want all of you to make money. Let's make money together. That's all I care about.
I don't see any super strong signals in the MACD or the RSI either. Someone who is it? Hawkeye said JSTAR said take a look at GLD. I have bought that from time to time. Man, it has been on a tear lately, hasn't it? 150 up to 230. Very nice. Well, too late for me to buy in now.
That's gold, baby.
Yeah. I need to set me some alerts.
I got my gold right here, baby. I'm good. Keep going up. I buy more all the time. You know that, right?
I didn't know that. No.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yolo Ono says trading cards is like trading in your car to a dealer who will give you a bad price and trade your car privately at a higher price, but you don't get the instant cash. You do get instant cash when you trade in your card, Yolo Ono. However, they are taking a pretty big whack for the convenience of selling it for you. They're taking a pretty good chunk of your potential profit. Let's be honest. I know exactly what the number is because we've had people in the Discord going to try and sell cards, and we're collecting data so that I have stuff to share with you guys, real data of what GameStop is willing to pay. So we'll talk about that next week. But they're, just like when you go trade in your car, like you said, at a used car dealer, they're getting theirs, and you're getting your cash for convenience of a instant purchase. You don't got to hassle with setting up an eBay listing and then mailing the card to somebody. You just want the cash today. Here you go.
I love cash, baby. Making cash.
Who is that? Minicio said, did you see Fubo? I have not.
I'll work hard. Tony worked hard all day today, didn't you, Tony?
I had, before I came on live, Mediocre, I was on my number 6 Excedrin. Because I worked on the truck project most of the morning yesterday and most of the morning today, and I got to finish it tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the easiest day. So Friday I did some disassembly, and then I had to order another caliper, and then that got here this morning or yesterday morning. Anyways, I finished the front axle this morning, and I changed the oil while I had the front end lifted up. And tomorrow I'm going to do the rear axle, which is not replacing rotors, just calipers and brake pads. So a little bit easier, but lifting heavy, big ass heavy truck tires and rotors and calipers out in the 100-degree sun, rolling around in the grease and the dirt, laying on the driveway. It wears on you as you get older, Mediocre. I'm no spring chicken anymore.
I hear you.
But I do enjoy not having to spend a couple $1,000s at the dealer, if you know what I mean.
I mean, the sun will fucking kill you, dude. The sun is ruthless. I'll tell you right now.
I'm not kidding. My neighbor died in his front yard mowing his lawn
I believe it. It
in
happens a lot.
the Texas sun. Texas sun don't play around.
No.
And I think this morning, I have my big water container. I think in the couple hours I was out there this morning, I drank 4 of those mediocre. I was just drenched in sweat.
Is that why you're not drinking too many beers tonight? I see you kind of milking it over there.
Yeah, I'm on my second one.
I'm just messing with you, dude. You don't
What I
take
really feel like doing is just going to sleep,
yeah, don't take my fucking ball busting ass going to get another beer. You got to prove nothing to me. I've seen you fucking drunk online.
AMC Hawkeye says I had a coworker pass away like that. Oh man, I don't know if y'all are interested in keeping up with the truck project. I posted some photos on Twitter and on my community tab. Man, mediocre. I've never seen a rotor as worn. This is not my truck. I mean, it is mine now, but I was not the one who ran this thing into the ground. The rotor had a paper thin amount of thickness left on it.
I had one like that in my truck. I'm not gonna lie. When I pulled it off, I said, "Holy fuck!" My brother said, "No fucking way you drove that shit like that."
That was on the front passenger side. On the front driver's side, the rotor still had a adequate thickness, but he was not good at changing the pads, and he had scored up, scratched, the surface of the rotor. I was like,
Yeah,
fuck it, man. I'm just replacing both of them.
that's what I would do.
And yeah. And then when I dropped the plate, so I could get under the engine, so I could get to the filter. I asked the guy that gave me the car. I was like, do where you change the oil a lot? He's like, well, it kind of uses a lot of oil, so I don't really worry about changing it.
Oh my god!
Are you serious? So I dropped the big steel plate and I drained the oil, and there was about 2 quarts of oil in it, mediocre. It's got an 8-quart capacity. And then I dropped the filter, and it was like petrified. You know how have you ever seen a canister filter?
Yeah,
Where like the can is built in, so you drop the can and your filter's just basically paper. It doesn't have the hard metal shell around it.
yeah.
So, I was fanning the new filter, and then I tried to fan the old filter. It was hard as a rock, like petrified. And it was solid sludge goop. Just, I don't think it probably had ever been changed. But I mean, the truck runs good. So he didn't kill the engine, but I think it'll run a lot better now with fresh oil, fresh filter.
Jesus, guy.
And once I get all the brakes, rotors, calipers, pads replaced tomorrow, then we got to bleed the brakes. And then Monday I got to take it to get inspected.
I've been doing a lot with my personal life myself. I mean, it's been a shit show around here. You know that. I'm not going to go into detail, but it's been a fucking nightmare. I haven't seen a lot. Like, I was surprised I actually caught that JetBlue flight, but it was only because I had to find something, dude. My fucking mind was going berserk. So,
Someone is
up to that.
Have you looked at Intel? Vin Cool wants to know about Intel.
I have not.
Vin, I'll tell you, I have an upcoming video on Intel, and I bought some. Let me look at my chart here.
Actually, Tony, what stock is Daddy-O in the Discord? Is he in Intel or is he in NVIDIA?
I don't recall. I don't recall.
I get those two mixed up.
Vin, this is not financial advice because there is, for me, Intel is let's call it a 5-year play. And if you're in my Discord, you already know my thoughts on this. I'm taking entries very gingerly over time, but I've been waiting for a beautiful drop like this, considering that I don't think Intel is going bankrupt, at least not right now. That's not how I'm viewing it. And so I bought some earlier this month at 2067 and 1923.
Put the chart up, Tony. Let me see the sucker.
All right.
I might have to do some due diligence on this thing.
Let me pull up the daily here.
Don't mind. I'm just curious. I mean, I could pull mine up, but I'd have to log in.
I got it.
Oof, that's a massive dip, huh?
Yeah, and I mean, Mediocre, their price at the end of 2023 was $50.
Yeah.
So they had some bad news. They had some bad news at the beginning of August, and some poor guidance. So it got spanked. But for me, that was something good to wait for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested, right? I mean, look at AMD, for God's sakes. AMD used to trade around this price. So
When I'll just say, Vin, when I finish my DD, when I feel comfortable sharing some thoughts about why I bought it or whether I think it's a good buy later this week coming up, I'll share those with you guys. But all I'm going to tell you is I bought some. I'm not saying it's a recommendation at this point, but I like blue chip companies that get crushed like this on temporary bad news. And I can't tell you right now that all the bad news is out. Like there could be more bad news coming, could go down lower. But I won't be able to say that with certainty till I'm ready to put my video out, because I'm just not completely caught up on everything yet.
yeah, I'm interested in looking at it though, for sure, Tony. I'm going to do some DG on it myself. I didn't know.
We're at 2015 prices right now, Mediocre, on Intel.
I like it. It could be a buying opportunity right there.
It could be, or it could go down to $8.
Exactly. We need to read and see what's up.
Anya says 4th gen processors have defects and Intel has to fix per warranty. Yolo Ono says there is a chip shortage. My long-term thesis for Intel or AMD is, especially Intel, when they get the new foundry up and running, is they're kind of like the backup plan for NVIDIA. If Taiwan gets taken over by China, or NVIDIA turns out to be a massive corrupt scam, I mean, where are people going to go down the road?
I mean, there's a lot going on with that whole thing. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on with world geopolitics, we'll say. I don't know. I look at that shit every day too, because, when you got a lot of money at risk, you're going to want to know what's going on.
Hawkeye says, I love Intel, just feel it's going to drop hard. That I share your concern, which is why I'm not loading the boat right here. Let's just be clear. I'm buying some shares, but if you're in my Discord and you know how I buy stuff, I don't take all of my free cash and just splash it onto a company just because it dropped. You know what can happen? It could drop and then it could keep dropping, or it could drop and it could bounce. And I kind of like to let it simmer for a little bit and let's see what happens.
Right. Like there's a lot of examples for that. Like just go look at Chicken Soup. You know, I mean that stock is I don't even know what it's trading at right now. I can't remember the ticker symbol. Do you remember Chicken Soup, Tony?
I think it is CSSE.
Yeah, CSSE. That's it. Yep. I haven't looked at it in a long time. How bad does it look? Do you know?
Didn't they announce Chapter 11?
I think so.
Yeah,
Can't
there's
remember.
CSSEQ now.
Oh, they're gone.
I mean, they're not gone, but they're almost gone. Point
That is
they're below 1 penny, mediocre.
Jesus. That is for anybody who wants to know. That is
They're the
what's
ones
the
that
name?
bought Redbox.
Crackle. It's Crackle. Like if on your Fire Stick or your whatever, it's Crackle, it's Redbox, it's all those companies.
$47 down to 1 penny. Holy smokes.
Yeah, man. That thing was a shit show. A friend of mine helped me out with that a long time before I started reading financial statements and doing fundamentals of the company. Do you remember who that was, Tony?
Was it me?
Yes. I said, Tony, look at this fucking ticker. And he said, that thing's a fucking disaster. I said,
Even worse, mediocre, is people buying Redbox.
I'll tell people the truth. I said, fucking Tony's a bear on every fucking thing. I just want this fucking guy to be wrong. Oh, fuck.
I'm not a bear. I'm just honest. Like, I tell you what I see.
Hated you, dude. I used to hate that you would fucking say shit and it would happen. Oh, fuck, it pissed me off.
Welcome to the club, mediocre. Everybody hates when I say shit and then it happens. Maybe y'all could just learn to read financial statements and then we could all be in agreement.
Fubo. That's why I said that, Tony, because you know what? It's true. People think like that.
They think that I'm a bear, but I'm not a bear. I'm just like, okay, I got 3 pieces of paper here: an income statement, a balance sheet, and a cash flow. I can pretty much see exactly what's going to happen over the next 12 months from those 3 pieces of paper.
And it wasn't only that, Tony. There's more, right? Like there's different websites that you and I use. Like I got the information from you, like Dilution Tracker, right? I specifically remember CSSE. I didn't mean to just bring this one up, but I just wanted to see what it was because, man, that thing took a fucking beating. But when I asked you about it, just for the audience, just so you all know, I had money in it, and I was down probably a couple $1,000. But there was. This is the thing. This is the thing with market corruption, people. This is a perfect conversation to have right now about market corruption. At the time when I asked Tony to look at this specific stock, I don't remember what it was trading at. That's irrelevant. What happened was, though, there were articles out there from what would you call those people who say that the stock is worth $20, right? What do they call them? Analysts,
Pumpers.
right? They're analysts, right? These are legitimate fucking analysts out there telling people that the stock is worth $20. They were doing that shit with CSSE. And I know this because I said, Tony, look at this fucking article. Are you sure? And then, well, Tony's like, well, Mediocre, look at, here's fucking Dilution Tracker. He's like, they got a lot of fucking dilution ahead of them and warrants and shit. I forget the exact scenario, what the fuck was on the Dilution Tracker. But that's one of the tools that we use. right? I'll tell you guys, I don't give a shit. Tony tells you all the time. So I never really used those tools, but I look at them now.
You know what I found, Mediocre, is on some of these shitty plays, that one analyst is given a crazy price target. You know who he works for? The underwriter of the dilution.
Yeah.
So do you think they might have an incentive to give a wrong price target?
I think that it happens a lot.
Absolutely.
I think it happens more than people think. You get an article that tells you a stock is valuable, it's undervalued, and you buy into it and you get fucked. I think it happens a lot. And how that's part of the reason why I'm having this conversation is because, like JetBlue, for example, I checked dilution tracker. I looked at the financials. I looked at the news, why it dropped like it did before I ever put my money into it. And then I said, Tony, look at this for me. He looked at it and he told me, well, it could go down more. Tony, he's very conservative, but he told me everything I already knew. Basically, you never know what's going to happen with the stock. But the point that I'm trying to make is dilution tracker has information that you're not necessarily going to get from a financial statement or a balance sheet, right? You're not
You're going to
know.
have to dig through a lot of filings to
Exactly.
get what you can get on dilution tracker.
Exactly.
There was there was a ticker that I asked them to add. What was that ticker? Donahue George is talking about it. I forget. I tweeted about it.
I'm not pushing dilution tracker. I'm just telling you that's one of the tools that I use, and I know Tony uses it too.
It's expensive though.
It is very expensive.
It's better just to have a good friend like me that is paying for it, where you can ask questions. Oh, Archer Aviation, ACHR. People were talking about Archer last week, and a few people asked me about it. When I started looking at their filings, I was like, holy fuck. They have Mediocre a ton of different warrants and other really oddball stuff that could add to could be a potentially dilutive play. And Stellantis, which is a manufacturing company, invested in the company. Guess what, Mediocre? Guess why they invested? Because they got shares and they got warrants too, I think. And if Archer does good, Stellantis is going to make out like a bandit. But people are like, oh, Archer's got, I'm going to make up a number, 70% institutional ownership. This is a buy. Okay. Did you look at anything else? Do they have production? Do you know when they're going to have production? Do you know what their revenue is going to be? Do you know what the dilution is going to be? Do you know what the impact of warrants are going to be if the stock starts creeping up? Like it's not just as simple as saying they have institutional ownership right now. That's too basic of an analysis. So I'm looking into Archer, but I'm not ready to make a video about it yet. I don't even know if I will. I do like the technology. I did check into Archer a year ago, and another company, a Chinese company called Ehang. But not quite ready to talk about them yet because they're not really in production. But they're getting close, and I'd love to see some flying taxis. Let's talk about Fubo TV. $63 down to $1.50.
What's up with all these streaming services, Tony, taking a hit?
I see some people in the comments that were asking about Fubo, bullish on Fubo. Okay, we see the chart. You guys know we're not super huge fans of stocks that have been bled out like this. However, if there is a turning point where you can buy it for $1.50, and they're telling us if management is giving guidance that the stock is going to start generating some positive operating income or some revenues, maybe now's a good time to get in. So let's do Mediocre. Let's do some DD real quick. How about
Let's
that?
do it.
Let me show you guys what I do to take a look. Let me pull up another tab and we'll look together at Fubo and we'll just see what we see. I haven't looked at this stock, so I'm going to start. Let's start with dilution tracker and see if it's even on there. It is.
Float. Is it up there?
It is, yeah. I'll do a screen share.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're not going to make our decision on this. This is just kind of to give us some perspective as we dive into the financials. Overall risk high, offering ability of new shares high, overhead supply, how many shares do they have to sell? High. And historical dilution high. Cash need, how much cash do they need? Medium. So they have a lot of potential to dilute, but their actual cash need is medium. Their cash position is 8 months of cash with a quarterly cash burn of 50 million and estimated current cash of 134. So theoretically, they'll run out of cash. If they didn't do any more cash raise or increase revenue, they'll run out of cash in 3 quarters. You can see that their current shares is just over 300 million, and they have the ability to offer, based on current filings, up to, let's call it 530 million shares. So almost they could double the float.
Jesus.
All right. So that's something to be aware of. Now let's look at more of their financials. I'm going to start off looking at if there's any analysts covering this stock and what they say. There are six analysts. They have it rated a buy with a average price target of 282, a low of $2, and a high of $5. So all of them have a forecast greater than the current price. So that's good. Let's see how old these forecasts are. They're all relatively new.
Strong buy, strong buy, strong buy.
But the two most recent ones are the lowest price target. $2. $2. Laura Martin. Okay. And let's scroll down here, and just based on analysts, I'm going to do my own analysis with you here in just a second, but analysts are saying that the revenue should go from 1.6 billion this year to 2.15 billion in 2026. And earnings per share, while it is expected to be negative 72 cents for this year, it's still going to be negative next year and still going to be negative in 2026. But they're going to almost get to profitability by 2026. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So from negative 72 to negative 3. This is kind of like the same situation with AMC, right? They're saying it's going to get better, but they're still going to be losing money. Same situation with GameStop, except their revenue, they're forecasting it to go down, and they're still forecasting that it's going to lose money. So not a terrible story. Like growing revenue and improving earnings is good, but no one's forecasting a profit for this company in the next 2 years. Now, I don't know if they're right or wrong. I'm not here to judge that. I know very little about this company. But let's just see what we see here on income statement. Revenue, that looks good. I mean, generally increasing revenue. That's on a quarterly basis. On a annual basis, we like that. We like increasing revenue. Let's look at net income. All negative, but slowly getting better. Shares outstanding. You can see here, the dilution that's gone on.
Yep.
A lot of dilution. And let's see, gross margin 12%, operating margin negative 9%. Their operating margin is getting better. You can see it was negative 46. Now it's negative 9%. All right. I mean, we got a general lay of the land there. Balance sheet. Cash is dwindling since 2020. Even though they keep raising money through dilution, you saw the dilution chart, their cash still keeps going down. How much are they burning per quarter? 25, 56, 70, 83. I mean, it's not fantastic. So when I see cash declining like that, if I'm thinking about investing, I got to know that there's a turnaround story in the cash burn, or what happens. More dilution is going to come. So that'd be, if you're bullish on Fubo, you better have a story you can tell yourself in black and white based on the numbers that the cash burn is going to slow down or stop.
Stop the bleeding.
If it does not, there's going to be continued dilution. Total current assets, 280. Total current liabilities, 464. This is not what we want to see. You have a negative working capital. Another reason why there's likely to be dilution. So negative 184 million working capital. Their balance sheet is broken. Not good. Total assets, 1.1 billion. Total liabilities, 854. A little bit better story there. So that means when total assets is higher than total liabilities, they have positive shareholders' equity. So we got some good on the balance sheet. We got some bad. And the bad is screaming, this company needs cash. Goodwill is 600 million. That's the vast majority of their assets is goodwill. I mean, goodwill's a non-cash asset, so that's vapor. You got 1.1 billion in assets, but more than half of it is goodwill. So not a great story if the company gets in a bankruptcy situation. You're not going to come out well. Cash, I'm not saying they're in a bankruptcy situation. I'm just saying if it ever got there, this is not a great balance sheet for that scenario. Cash flow, operating cash flow is all negative. Investing cash flow, they're not spending a ton of money on CapEx, so nothing too concerning there. And financing cash flow, this is where you'll see where they raised money through dilution, issuance of common stock, 36 million in the most recent quarter, and that looks like 100 million back about a year ago. At the end of the day, when we look at net cash flow, mostly negative. Free cash flow, all negative. So yeah, I mean, you're seeing a company that it needs some income, and in the analysts' forecast, that's not going to happen for 2 years. So if I'm just going to say, if you're bullish on Fubo, you better be smarter than the analysts and think that this company has a turnaround story. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know anything about what management has said or what their growth prospects are. The revenue, again, I thought we saw that it was growing, right? It was growing, but they've had 3 quarters of decline. One or the last 2 have been less. So I don't know. There's some good here, but there's some bad. There's some things to be concerned about. It's not a slam dunk yet.
Got to keep watching it. Got to keep paying attention, like we do with AMC, right? See if we're gonna, we got a recovery story. Like I think Fubo is a streaming service, is it? Is it not, Tony?
I think so. Yep.
So like we look at box office for AMC to help us guide us, right? Because we're trying to get in early. So I'm not saying to do this or anything like that, but if you're already in the play and all that, I'd be looking at, what are their subscription numbers, right? Are they increasing subscription numbers and stuff like that?
Someone wanted me to check the news, that there is some recent news. Fubo wins injunction against Disney, Fox, and Warner Brothers Venue Sports joint venture. Today's ruling is significant as Fubo fought against 3 of the world's biggest media conglomerates to create a more competitive streaming marketplace. I'm not aware of the details of this, but let's see if we can pick it out real quick. Fubo had sought to stop the launch of the JV, the joint venture that would have controlled roughly 60 to 80% of live broadcast sports content. Wow. That would have been horrible for Fubo if that happened, right? If all of these Walt Disney, Fox, and Warner Brothers got together. Fubo presented evidence of the joint venture's primary effect of limiting competition, removing customer choice, and leading to steep price hikes. Well, good.
That's a win.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
We don't need
it's one more chalk mark in the plus column.
I mean, look at what's going on with Google. Didn't Google violate antitrust laws? Something like that. I don't know if I'm correct on that. I think I heard something like that, like it's a monopoly or something like that.
I'm just going to say, Mediocre, I have my favorite speculative plays right now, and there's only so much capital I'm willing to deploy in non-profitable companies. And I can forecast AMC's revenue.
Exactly.
And I don't know a way that I can forecast Fubo's revenue. I can make some judgments ahead of everybody else with AMC based on box office.
What are that's the thing, right? Like I would be looking if I was invested or I wanted to be invested, which, I might trade it once in a while if I see a move or something like that. But to be invested in that,
in Fubo?
Yeah, I would do research on what they're getting per subscription and what their subscription numbers are, right? I mean,
I'm sure that the people that are talking about it in the chat have listened to the company's earnings calls and have listened to guidance and read through the investor presentations, right? You guys do that, right? Tell me yes, Tony, I did all of that. I know exactly what their plan is. I know management's outlook. I know how much they're bringing in per subscriber and what the acquisition cost is for new customers, yada, yada, yada.
Yes, sir.
Ethan says, how do you feel about Rocket Lab? I know nothing about Rocket Lab. Anyways, good luck. I don't hate Fubo. Definitely the price is cheap. If that court case is a big win for them, which it seems that it is, and they can continue to grow their audience, it looks like analysts are forecasting that it's going to get better. You just got to pay close attention to their cash burn. I think it's kind of like the same thing with AMC, right? We're on cash burn watch.
Absolutely.
And why do I care about that with AMC? Because I want to be able to predict. I mean, you can't ever predict anything with certainty, but I'm hyper vigilant about dilution risk. And I feel a lot better with AMC having the debt deal done, but I wouldn't say that there's zero risk of further dilution. I got to see that box office grow. And then I'd like to hear some news. I'd like to see management of AMC actually apply free cash flow, positive operating profits to reducing the debt. If I start seeing them do that, then I'm going to be like, they're not going to dilute anymore, Mediocre. They're going to do the smart thing, take cash thrown off from the business positive and pay down the debt with that. They've already screwed with us enough. They had to. I mean, they didn't have a lot of choice, right?
Yeah.
It's raise money by selling shares or file Chapter 11. They did what they had to do, as unpleasant as it was. But if the box office can get to a point where they're generating cash and they can show me that they're going to use that cash to pay off that last little bit of the 10-12 pick toggle or pay off the Odeon debt, then I start getting a lot more comfortable with AMC.
Yeah, I mean, I think AMC's. I know people don't like to hear it, but to save the business as a whole, they did what was best for the company. May not have been what was best for the shareholder, but they kept you a shareholder, right? Like you didn't go to zero.
Mediocre. There are still
True.
people daily banging this drum that AMC did something criminal by raising money to avoid Chapter 11. Like, so what? You're telling me that you would have preferred Chapter 11 than the company raising cash? That's basically what you're saying. You're mad that they raised cash. And since you thought that the judge was going to rule in your favor and she didn't because they didn't do anything wrong, you're going to try and twist it into, well, obviously then it was criminal because it didn't happen the way that I wanted. No. But you got to realize that if they didn't, whether it was criminal or not, and it definitely wasn't. In fact, it was disclosed to you in 10Qs as early as 2021, exactly what was going to happen if you knew what to look for.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, most of us didn't know what to look for, Mediocre, but it was there. I mean, everything that they did was fully disclosed even a year before it happened.
Yeah. We've talked about that, didn't we, Tony?
The alternative is you'd be sitting in a Chapter 11 right now with nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that makes anybody better off. So why these people are obsessing over what happened, like fucking learn from it, move on, stop investing in non-profitable companies if you don't like dilution. But if you don't like dilution, don't invest in non-profitable companies.
But Tony, they stopped the short squeeze from happening.
They stopped bankruptcy from happening, Mediocre.
I agree with you, Tony. I know. I'm just saying that's what they say. It stopped the short squeeze.
Well, they don't care about your short squeeze. Let me tell you that. No one does. Ryan Cohen doesn't. Adam Aaron doesn't. David Mishery doesn't. None of them. All they care about is not going bankrupt. They care about improving the business to the point where they can be profitable. And they're going to do whatever they need to do, despite how much it makes your mangina bleed, to use Korex's favorite term.
Oh, God.
Despite how much it hurts your feelings, they're going to take whatever steps they need to avoid bankruptcy, because they have a fiduciary duty to all stakeholders not to go bankrupt. You don't like that? Get out of the damn play. Don't invest. Don't speculate in non-profitable companies, because guess what, guys? If you hold them long enough, two things are going to happen. Well, three. They come up with revenue and they get profitable. Best case. They file Chapter 11, and the list is long now over the last 3 years of how many ended up there. Or you get diluted. There's really only three outcomes. If you don't like 2 or 3, if you don't like Chapter 11 and you don't like dilution, do not speculate in money losing companies. Look for some blue chips. Granted, you're not going to become a millionaire tomorrow, but when you're betting on becoming a millionaire tomorrow, you got to admit there's probably a little bit of risk involved. Mediocre.
Absolutely.
A lot of risk. Like,
absolutely. There's a lot of risk.
They don't just hand out those millionaire tickets with a guarantee.
They're not easy to get. Remember the days we used to say that? Guaranteed.
Hawkeye says, why didn't AMC just dilute when the stock was $400 a share? All right. Great question. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for allowing me to talk about that. If you're curious, I posted it in my YouTube community tab about 5 days ago, and on Twitter. And I'll tell you exactly what happened, because I posted the evidence from the court documents from that lawsuit a year ago, where we got all the discovery of the board meeting minutes and the emails. And, you know, the Project Popcorn people don't want to share this information from you. They just want to keep saying what? They want to lie to you and say that Adam Aaron pulled the vote because he wanted to punish shareholders and help the shorts. That is a complete fabrication. And they will not talk about what I'm about to share with you, even though it's right there in the court documents. And I posted it for you guys to see. AMC did raise money, first of all, in 2021. You guys remember that, right? They raised a couple $2 billion, as I recall. And then they tried to increase the float to 1 billion shares. And then they also tried to increase, what was it, Mediocre? They wanted to increase it 25 million shares when they realized people weren't going to approve 1 billion.
Yeah.
Let's just increase it 25 million. And they pulled the vote. You guys remember that, right? They pulled the vote twice.
We said no.
Why did they pull the vote? That is the big debate. And what the Project Popcorn conspiracy theorists will tell you, because they don't want to look at the actual evidence that exists in the 900-page affidavit. But I posted it so you can go see it. The vote was coming in against approval. The shareholder vote was coming in against approval.
I remember that time, Tony. There was a lot of influencers pushing the narrative that we should not allow them
Right.
more
And
shares
and
because
and
it'll
we didn't get the data, Mediocre, because when the vote happened, the proposal had been withdrawn already. So when the 8K came out, there was no data for that proposal. But guess what? The data is in the 900-page affidavit. And I
yeah,
found it. I found it. I was looking for something else this week. And AMC was going to lose on two fronts. First of all, they needed 50% of all outstanding shareholders to vote yes.
which they didn't have because of
They
influence.
weren't even close, Mediocre.
Exactly.
And on top of that,
But
they
why won't
needed they needed a majority of the votes to be yes. And it was stacked heavy for
against?
no.
Right.
So why did they pull the vote? Is it because they hate you? Is it because they were helping the shorts? No, it's because we fucked them.
Yes, we did.
We.
I, I,
It
I'll,
is our fault. They didn't raise money in 2021 after that. You only have shareholders to blame, not Adam Aaron, not the company. Go look at the document that I posted. The actual numbers that didn't get released to the public in the 8K are in the affidavit from Broadridge, who was tabulating the votes. And AMC was losing. So to avoid embarrassment, they withdrew the proposal.
and why were we saying no, Tony?
Because we wanted a short squeeze.
Absolutely.
We shot ourselves in the foot. And guess what? Then they had to come up with a plan B, which sucked even worse.
Exactly.
Eight. Because they knew they had no prayer of getting regular common shares. And they were going to do anything they needed to avoid bankruptcy.
Absolutely.
And they had 50 million preferred shares. What can we do creatively that is legal to not go bankrupt? And we got ape. And I'm not blaming anybody, but our choices in 2021 had consequences in 2023.
And it was made perfectly clear by the board and Adam Aaron that ape was equivalent 1-for-1 with AMC. So I knew that from day one because he emphasized it was 1-for-1. So when people were like, "Oh no, it's not 1-for-1," I'm like, "What do you mean?" Then he's a liar, and I have a lawsuit. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, come on, it was definitely 1-for-1. Well, it's obvious it was 1-for-1 now. It's in the past. It was, but you know,
Lazy One says Adam said why he pulled the vote, didn't he? I don't even remember anymore. Do you guys remember, Mediocre? Any of y'all in the audience remember what he said back then? I honestly don't remember.
what I remember about that time was there was a lot of influence that was saying not to do it because if it would give short shares
Yeah.
and you know the short squeeze wouldn't happen.
Well, I remember that.
But
I might have said that myself, Mediocre. I might be partly to blame. I mean, nobody
I'm
was
not
watching.
blaming
Nobody
anybody.
was watching me back then, but I remember Trey saying he was against it.
I was against it at the time. I'll admit that. Right? I fucked up. Okay.
All we did was help the shorts by handicapping the company. I mean, the company was doing 2-year cash forecasts. They knew they were going to run out of cash.
Looking back, if you
the next
pay
24
attention to
months.
events and you go look back, you can walk that shit back, and you know this, Tony. We've done it. Improve, like we totally fucked up.
I saw in the court documents their cash burn forecast. They were forecasting 2 years out. They knew they were going to run out of cash. They knew they needed to raise some more, and we shot them in the foot.
I don't disagree, Tony. I just, you know what I mean. I don't know what else. I put that shit in the past because, you know,
Yeah,
we
it
were
is. It
smart
is
enough
what it is. It is what
to
it
do
is. But
research in the end, Tony. that protected us, right? And we didn't just keep that information to ourselves. We didn't, right? We shared that information out with many other YouTubers and individuals, right? The information was out there. People were upset with you and I. And hey, look where we are today. I remember I wouldn't even come live back then. Why? I know why. Because the the community was so toxic at that time. It was not come on to get trash for what? I'm good. I try to help people. Like I'm not in for confrontation or any of that. I'm in this play to make money. Period. You know, and I'm gonna trade it regardless. When there was no more for me, it was over when it was time. You know, when the writing was on the wall, it was over for me to keep holding this thing. I had to give up. Luckily, I was in at the bottom anyways, right? So I feel for people. I truly do. I also try to help people every day. That's why I'm on here talking to you people now.
The most irritating thing for me, Mediocre, now is some people that believed the judge was going to rule in their favor because she had a degree in the humanities or some fucking nonsense. She's a woman of the people. AMC did nothing wrong. Everything was properly disclosed years in advance before it even happened. It was signed off by an army of lawyers. It was signed off by NYSE. It was signed off by Delaware. There was nothing illegal about it. You can scream to the heavens all you want that it was illegal. You're just trying to blame your own bad analysis on illegality. The best thing that I can say, if you lived through all that and you're still holding it, or if you're stepped out for a while like I did and you're buying back in now, is I think the bulk of the pain is behind us now, Mediocre.
Oh, absolutely.
We got
Right.
there's been a obscene amount of dilution. Okay. They did that to avoid going bankrupt and get to the point where they're still alive for when the box office starts recovering. And by everybody's estimation, the rest of this year, next year, the next year should be really good if everybody is correct.
Right. And that's the thing, Tony. Like, this is what part of the reason why you and I like to have conversations about this on the internet, right? Is because we want to see old apes, right? Even the people who don't agree with us, right? We want to see them succeed. So we want them to have the information so that they can make good decisions, right? Like, I'm not telling anybody to buy right now or anything like that, but if you were gonna buy, I think it's kind of hard to deny that now might be a good time to buy, right?
That's where I was going with the people screaming at the heavens. Like, they're so angry now, Mediocre, at their own bad analysis over the last couple of years that they can't even see that the company has the best potential right now and the cheapest price. I mean, we're literally at 50 cents pre-conversion and split. If the box office continues to grow, a lot of the risk of the past couple of years has been wrung out of the play. The debt's been pushed out. They've continued to cut leases and lower rent costs. They've almost paid off the deferred rent. But everything, it's not a risk-free play. Everything is hinging on box office.
Correct.
The company's not profitable. Don't twist what I'm saying. It's not risk-free until they're profitable and management tells you all we see for the next year is profits. When you hear that, this thing I think it's gonna move.
Right.
But until then, we still got to be careful, which for me means, as always, sizing my investment in light of the known risk. This is not my only stock. I own far less of it now than I ever did. My basis is 420. I'm not willing to go put my entire portfolio in at $5. It's not a risk-free play. But the longer we go on with box office getting better and better, the more comfortable that I start feeling. So I will continue to let you know how I feel and when I'm buying. Not that I'm giving you trading advice. I'm just one stupid retail trader just like you.
Yeah, just opinions based off of what we're looking at and what we're talking about, right?
Yep.
We have communications every day about all various stocks, right? It's just, it is what it is, you know? I don't know. If I had a high dollar cost average, I'm just speculating what I would do here. If I did have one, I would try to drive that down the best that I
I
could.
just I don't know what the downside is here anymore in Mediocre on AMC.
It's hard.
Unless monkeypox shuts down the fucking world,
Yeah.
what is the downside, really?
World War III, maybe. I don't know. That's a
I mean,
possibility.
you could have an entire market crash due to monkeypox or World War III, of course,
Right.
but nobody is going to be spared. Not AMC, not GameStop, nobody. So
Exactly.
that's not on AMC. I don't care what you're holding, you're going to get wrecked. And
Right.
I'm not going to take responsibility if you buy AMC at 5 and there's a market crash. I'm telling you right now, you're going to get fucked in
Yeah.
GameStop, in AMC, in anything.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what the ticker symbol is. Just look what happened that weekend. I don't remember if it was a Friday night or not. What happened when the market crashed because of the Japan deal, right?
There is no negative beta stock that's going to save you. All these fucking GameStop liars, man. GameStop is it's my, what do they say? It's my hedge for a market crash. You are an idiot if you say that. There is no hedge to a market crash.
Oh man, you're ruthless. You mean
But
when
you know what the hedge is, Mediocre? Cash.
Tony? You mean when the market crashes, where the stock's not going to take off?
No. Yeah, I mean your hedges have puts on the index or be in cash. That's your hedge.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carl. Carl's right. Algos sell everything. In a market crash, the algos are going to trash everything. And that's why I still try and keep a pretty hefty percentage of my portfolio in cash because I think there's still some of that risk right there. Maybe as we get closer to the election, I'll change my mind.
I'm just
Why
trying to be.
are you seeing all this monkeypox news, Mediocre? They're trying to foist that on us now.
I did see that. It's you got the World Health Organization bullshit, and then you got what's going on in California crap. It
And the,
just
and they're trying to tell us Kamala's beating Trump in the polls now.
yeah, they're crazy, dude. They're nuts. I don't understand it.
Treetop.
They're just it blows my mind.
It cracks me up, Treetop. These people that think a money losing company is going to rocket. I mean, GameStop's revenues are going through the into the toilet. AMC's are going up, but it's not profitable. There's no good story for either stock that's going to make them the flight to safety in a market crash. They're both going to get wrecked. Everything's going to get wrecked, except maybe gold.
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 Yeah, anytime any precious metal will probably do very well in a market crash. But yep, Carl J is right. SQQ is a triple short. I usually mess with that sometimes, but I haven't lately because
We have played with it from time to time.
it's like when what's his name, Senator Kennedy. He was he was doing a congressional hearing, and he had Janet yelling on there, and he told her that she's creating a fucking sugar high for the market. I agree with the guy. I think he's right. She is, but she denied it. But
Hawkeye says movies do good in recessions. I think that's true. I mean, I see people posting stats all the time. I don't have any reason not to believe them. I haven't done my own research on that.
I did.
But people that I trust have put up stats, and I trust those people. So I'm going to say that's probably correct.
Yeah, it is.
But there's a difference between a recession and a market sell-off, right? What I'm talking about is if something bad happens and the algos sell everything off, everything's going to get obliterated for at least for
I'd argue that
a
we
few
were
hours or a few
right
days.
now.
Huh?
Wouldn't you, Tony? I said I'd argue that we're in a recession right now, wouldn't you,
Yeah,
Tony?
absolutely.
And the box office is doing pretty well, isn't it?
Yep.
So I don't know.
Minicio says I'm getting a nice check. I'm buying more AMC and Fubo, not financial advice. All right. Good luck, amigo. All right. Mediocre. I don't want to be on here all night because I'm kind of worn out from working out in the sun all day today. Y'all got any? We can hang out like 10 more minutes.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, man.
Plus, Mediocre, apparently if we do really long live streams, it upsets the haters. Why can't they just do their DD in 5 minutes?
Why
We're
does it
just,
matter?
you motherfuckers, you little pink panty girly boys. We're just hanging out, chatting with the folks.
I'm
We
having
ain't
some
trying to do DD. If I want to do DD or a TA video, I'll do it in a minute or less, sometimes 5 minutes or less. But what I was commenting on is these guys who make 1 hour TA videos. That is nonsense.
I haven't even made any TA videos. I used to make TA videos, and then I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I still do it, I guess, for certain people, but I don't want to really. That requires a lot of research. You have to go look at stocks, and you know, there's a lot. People don't understand how much research is involved, don't they? And looking at tickers,
I know. I see people talking about Clove, and I haven't looked at Clove since way back in the day. Let's pull it up because the chart is looking pretty spicy, Mediocre.
Really?
Yeah, can you believe it?
I used to have my Discord alert me on all these good moves and stuff like that. Holy shit! Look at that. But
60 cents up to 283. Holy fucking smokes. That's not bad.
But look at the chart, Tony. Where
I know. Let's go back in the day when we were talking about Clove way back in 2021. It was at $28. It got wrecked all the way down to 60 cents. So are you guys curious why what changed? I am. Yeah. Let's find out. Hang on 1 second. Let's see what happened. Let's pull up this screen.
I can see why it slowed down too, Tony.
Why?
It's coming up on some fucking resistance levels.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see what changed here. Revenue has been on a nice upward trend. Net income still negative though. So what fucking changed? They haven't diluted. They're not making a profit. I'm going to look at the news. Hang on. Balance sheet. They're slowly burning off their cash. Let me go to a quarterly. I mean, annually they're burning off cash, but they're holding around 100 million. How much are they? losing. Oh, they had a positive quarter June 30th. I bet that is what turned it around, Mediocre.
Probably, yeah.
One
What are the
positive
next
quarter.
quarters?
And I would bet you, I haven't looked, but I would bet you that management probably gave some guidance of
Yep.
future profitable quarters.
I was just going to say that.
So let's see what the analysts are saying over here. We got one analyst, only one analyst following Clove. And they are not predicting any profitability annually or quarterly. So yeah, the pivot point.
Can't see the screen. It's white, Tony.
I know. The pivot point for the chart turning positive was in the beginning of May. So let me go back. Quarterly income. That would have been this March 31st. They didn't have positive net income. I'm curious what news happened or whatever. Clover Health reports second quarter financial results, improves full year guidance on strong performance.
There
I mean,
you
that's
go.
really all you need. Guys, this is what I'm waiting for on AMC. You guys have seen me tweet about this. It's 1 quarter of profits, like Q3, is not going to make a difference to AMC's stock price. But what will? The same as any other company. When you announce a profitable quarter or a beat and you say, we're going to have for the next year nothing but roses. Not, I'm feeling very bullish. Things are looking much improved. No. The market wants to see guidance. We're going to make a profit for the next 4 quarters. We're going to have positive free cash flow. The day AMC can report a positive quarter and give firm Wall Street qualified. When I say firm, not just this marketing talk that Adam Aaron does. Oh, June was the best month. I don't care about June, Adam. I don't care. Tell me the next 4 quarters are all going to be positive net income and positive free cash flow. That's when you see the stock take off. AMC. I'm telling you right now. The day that happens, you're going to see this stock start moving. Am I wrong, Mediocre?
Not at all. Not at all.
Lando says, what is the short percentage on Clove? I don't know. It's a good question. I bet there was a decent amount before that, wasn't there? It's 8% right now. But yeah, good. I mean, this is what happens when a company can shift into positive earnings and positive guidance. You start seeing things like this Clove chart. Big moves. Congrats if you believed in them and bought down at 60 cents. Wow. 4 extra money.
That's a good play if you did. That's some nice money.
Lando says, I think Adam will never say positive news. He will always gaslight us. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I don't think that I don't know that he's gaslighting you. The CEO's job, as I've talked about it here, any CEO's job is to market the company to shareholders or potential shareholders and put things in the best positive light. But I saw Larry Ching. I saw a tweet from him in the past week, which I kind of wondered, was he talking about Adam Aaron or some CEOs, and I'm gonna pull up that tweet so I don't misquote it. But he basically said, if you don't have good news, you should probably just say nothing. I don't know if he's providing cover for Ryan Cohen or if he was knocking on some other other CEOs. He said, if you're a leader and your organization is dealing with a difficult or challenging period, don't spin it to be more positive. All that does is erode trust. I mean, I get it, Larry. I don't disagree with him. But the fact is, guys, and I want you guys to understand this, for any CEO, their job is basically to market the company.
Yeah.
And because they might need to sell you some shares. It's your job to understand the financials and understand if you're being marketed to and what is when is it a safe investment. That's your job.
Yeah. Understand, market mechanics and the way the markets work, right? Understand that as a investor, as a shareholder, right? You are the reason why companies go public is because your dollars are why they went public to begin with.
They go public to raise money from the public
Exactly.
as needed. I want y'all to go watch my video. Everybody thinks I'm an Adam Aaron bootlicker. I want you to go watch my video called Don't Trust Any CEO. That sums it up. Go watch that video. I don't care about any CEO, not one, but I try and understand their job.
You don't believe in Ryan Cohen?
I don't care about any of them, not Adam Aaron, not Ryan Cohen,
Just
none.
being
I don't care about any of them, but I do understand their job. Their job is to put the company on the best financial footing, not go bankrupt, improve profitability. Sometimes they're stuck in a bad situation and they're going to take steps that shareholders might not like. But if you can be intelligent about anticipating and understanding those steps, and the way you get intelligent is by reading the financial statements and predicting what's likely to happen, then you can get in at the best possible entry, which is why I'm taking my time adding AMC and GameStop right now. I'm being patient because at some point these CEOs will have a good story to tell you, but until then they might need your capital. So I'm not worried about short squeezes in these stocks right now. I'm more worried about they're going to take steps to ensure their survival, and I need to be aware of that. That's all I'm thinking right now.
Yeah.
Baby UFO, good evening to you. Six Sun says, do you see AMC at $3 again? I don't know how Six Sun, I mean, this is just my guess, all right, not financial advice. I don't know how AMC goes down to $3 again. They only have 100 million shares left to sell.
Yeah.
What mediocre? Let's just storyboard for a second. What's the worst thing that could happen that could tank AMC back down to $3? I could think of two things.
Well, the first thing I would think of is asking shareholders for more shares.
Bingo.
And the second thing is a market crash.
Or
That's it.
or monkeypox.
Monkeypox. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. So some external event not related to AMC, but those are the same two things. Like if I had to do a worst case threat analysis to my share price, what would I be worried about? I'd be worried about the company saying, guys, we need to raise the float to 1 billion shares.
When I look at the chart, guys, in all fairness, when it breaks below $5, watch how quickly it recovers to between 490 and 515. It's like
Violent.
Very, yeah.
It's violent up green candle.
The problem, so that is a problem because people are willing to buy it at those prices because it's worth more than those prices.
It's only a problem for shorts.
Right. So when I see that happening, it's like, man, it's hard to say. So that's what I mean. We have a really tight range right now that we're trading in, and it's difficult, and that's why volume has somewhat died. That's my take of it.
I agree with you. I mean, I don't see a lot of scenarios. I'm not saying they're non-existent, but I don't see a ton of scenarios how this stock could be driven back down to $3. I have my buy ranges in at around 430 and 410. You'd have to drop below 10. You'd have to drop below 410 for me to start saying we got to worry about $3 again. And every time we get even close to that range, we rocket back up. So I don't know. It's not on my high risk
Yeah,
uh, things that I'm worried about. A drop to $3.
I'm not either.
I'm more just like praying that it gets really boring and or we get another Bank of Japan scare where they flash it back down to 420 so I can buy some more.
And for me, I have this problem with my own mind about how much shares I can, you know, end up with, or versus how much I constantly do math. Okay, with my brokerage value, right? My portfolio value, and how many shares I can own of this versus this, right? And so if I can own less over here, I'm talking about the money that I'm willing to invest in these plays like this, right? So then I'll say, well, I got better bang for my buck here. That's kind of what I do, right? But I want to do that while I still have a chance to put the money back into AMC because I believe that AMC is going to continue a slow climb up to uh, a value that I think it's worth. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I think it at the end of this year could be trading between $6 and $8. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what I'm looking at. I don't know. That's all I got, really.
Thoughts on more institutions buying AMC? I've seen people tweeting about that. Let me pull it up here on old Fintel. I just happen to have Fintel open. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Come on, you bastard. No, wrong one. Damn it. Let's see what we see here, Mediocre. All right, so this is the latest 13Fs for the quarter that ended June 30th. So first of all, when you see people talking about this, these are new filings that have been coming in the past 2 weeks because the 45 days is up, but they're reporting their holdings as of June 30th. So keep that in mind. We're looking at already data that's 2 months old. The next thing we want to look at is who has a green here. Green means they increased their holdings. Red means red means that they decrease. So how many green do we have? Quite a few. Now, the other thing that I kind of do is I'll sort by share size, if I can do that. And see who are the biggest holders and what have they done. Vanguard holds 30 million. I don't care about Vanguard. I'll just tell you, every time I see people, especially in GameStop, they're like, oh my God, Vanguard, increase the shares, guys. This is bullish. Vanguard is a passive investor. There's nobody sitting there thinking about their buys on Vanguard. How do I know that? Because I can. Huh?
I was going to say because it's basically funds, right?
Yes.
It's people's retirement funds.
It's all ETFs. So type in Vanguard up here. You can see they're 13F, which is 30 million, but underneath it, you'll get all the ETFs. And these, if you add all of them up, they will approach, not exactly, but they'll approach 30 million. We got 8 plus 6.3 plus 4.2 plus 4, yada, yada, yada. Almost 30 million. When you do BlackRock, their story is a little bit different. I think there is some active buying going on here because I see almost 21 million shares, but I don't see 21 million in ETFs. You see what I'm seeing, Mediocre?
Yeah.
There's only a few million. So 20.8 million. Let's look at how many they owned back at the end of March.
They owe. Oh, I thought it showed up right away.
They only
owe substantially less.
Yeah. So they have increased. I mean, that to me is a little more bullish. I mean, maybe someone wants to argue with me about that, but I don't see BlackRock, at least from what I can tell, the bulk of their shares is not tied up in ETFs. So maybe they were making a more bullish bet. But in general, if we look at, are people loading the boat on AMC? It's small buyers other than BlackRock. I guess I could look at Susquehanna
right there, 12 million.
Yeah, let's see how that's calls.
Oh, okay, it's calls. Yep.
I could look at Renaissance. I could look at Morgan Stanley. I mean, those are things you could do. I don't know why. Like, why isn't BlackRock in green, Mediocre? If they increased, it should be in green. Almost makes me not trust this data now. Maybe green means a new position.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll have to see what their criteria is or whatever.
Let's just look at Renaissance real quick. They have 10.2. How much did they have in the last 13F? 8.7. Oh, my bad. Green row, it says right here, green rows indicate new positions. Derp. Hello, Tony. So, yeah, you can't go by green means increased. I guess you need to go by percent shares by this column here. Percent shares increase. Vanguard up 23%. BlackRock up 117. Renaissance up 18%. Morgan Stanley up 55%. I mean, those aren't unsubstantial amounts. Geode up 80%.
So I'd say, yeah, they're buying, Tony.
Yeah. I would agree with you. Seems bullish to me. From March to June, they've been all steady increasing. But you know what? It's like we've been saying for the last couple hours, Mediocre. It's a pretty good buy in this zone, I think.
Yeah.
Seems to be a pretty good buy in this zone. I know
Yeah.
the Project Popcorn crybabies will tell you it's going to $1.50, but I'd say the institutions.
Nobody's saying that still, are
The,
they?
oh, definitely they are.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they're praying it goes bankrupt. They're trying to organize strikes against AMC, Mediocre boycotts. They want it to fail. This is
Wow.
when your emotions get the better of common sense. Like, okay, you had some bad calls. You had some bad decisions a year ago. Get the fuck over it.
I can't wrap my head around that. I don't.
Don't be an emotional trader. Like, you got to realize the setup. Not telling you to buy, but I mean, you got to. Any objective person right now would recognize that the debt's been pushed out. Box office is expected to increase, and we do over 2.5 billion this quarter in domestic box office. I think we get a profitable quarter. I mean, the game may be changing.
You want me to say what I said in the Discord? And had several people laughing.
Yeah, what'd you say?
The coffee's been on. Wake up, people.
ERA Land Beer, Era Land Beer says they're lending that shit out. Probably so. And I think the other reason it's trending in this range right now, the AMC chart and GameStop, is they are selling options. They're selling call options to people. Oh, August 16th is going to be a key day. Oh, August 30th is going to be a key day. Oh, September 14th, September 4th is going to be a key date. Guys, there's no key dates. There's only good box office and good forward guidance. In my book, anyways. You can have all the key dates you want from these hopium pushers. You ain't going to hear me talking about no fucking key dates.
I don't care about key dates, Sony. You know what I care about? I'm going to tell you guys. I care about training my children how the stock market works.
Mediocre. Didn't you hear, though, that Roaring Kitty bought moas.com and hooked his website up to it?
No, did he?
No. Somebody did, though.
I don't pay attention. Tony, I got so much shit going on in my personal life. You know that.
And another one. It was September4th.com or September14th.com. They hooked it up to his website. So now all these dummies are making videos saying September14th.com. It's Roaring Kitty trying to give us a secret message. Or some hedge fund wants to sell you call options. How about that? And all of y'all are falling for it, pushing out these videos and these tweets. And you're going to make a lot of people lose money wasting it.
I just want to know why Roaring Kitty isn't out making videos about financials and financial statements like he used to.
Nothing to talk about.
Market wide, there's nothing to talk about. He can't find one stock that's good enough to talk about, Tony.
I don't know. Lando says, I think...
let me just say this. Keith, I have zero problem with you. I think you're a very intelligent person. I'm just going to shut up because I see you, bro. That's all I'll say.
You talking to Keith? You talking to Keith? Yeah.
Yeah, Keith.
I don't want to spill his secret plan, but I see him too.
Exactly.
Lando says, do you think 3 billion domestic box office is possible? I don't, Lando, not for Q3, but I would be happy to be wrong. Ask me again after Beetlejuice. I mean, I'm going to stick with my forecast right now of 2.4 to 2.6 for domestic box office. I think I have a pretty high probability of being correct in that range. We've got 6 weeks left, and we're at 1.7. We'll probably be at 1.9 by the end of this weekend, maybe. There's an outside shot we can get over 2.6, but I don't know that we get to 3 billion, but I would love. I mean, I said, what did I say? If we'd get over 2.6, I will down a bottle of champagne live
What
with you
quarter is
guys.
Beetlejuice going to be in, Tony?
Huh?
What quarter is Beetlejuice going to fall in?
It's next month, Mediocre. It's Q3.
We'll see what happens. That's supposed to be big. I
I
don't
know.
I can only tell you what my wife is saying. She's a Beetlejuice nut job. Nah, I love my wife, don't get me wrong. But, she loves Beetlejuice. Absolutely loves it. Always has, So,
I saw Alien Romulus, as I mentioned, on Thursday. I'm going to go see it again later this week. My son is back from his internship and he wants to see it. So we're going to go see it this week. I'll take my wife with me because she didn't go on Thursday if she wants to go see it. So we'll see that twice. I've already seen Deadpool Wolverine twice. We saw It Ends With Us. I like that movie. We got The Crow coming up. I'm curious how that one will do. I have it low on the numbers, but maybe people really go out and see it. But yeah, Beetlejuice is the next big one.
yeah, how big of a movie? What do you got for numbers you thinking on that?
On which one? Crow?
Beetlejuice.
Let me
You think you got it underestimated?
pull up my spreadsheet.
I'm just curious. I don't. All I know is that there's a lot of people like my wife who absolutely love that movie and who are super excited for it. So I'm curious to see what kind of numbers it pulls in, but I don't know.
I think my number is going to come in low, Mediocre. Q3. I already had to bump up my number for Alien, which is good. I love increasing my guess. I have Beetlejuice forecasted. I did this forecast 2 months ago. I had it at 200 million for the entire domestic run, and it's already being forecast to do 70 to 80 million on opening weekend. So I'm pretty sure that my number is going to be low, which is good.
I like your numbers because it keeps me honest in my trades. You know what I mean? I use your box office numbers. That's why I ask you, right? But I like that your numbers probably going to be low, and we'll see what happens because, that.
I have a lot writing on Transformers and the Wild Robot, and those are kind of unknowns. Like I have pretty high numbers for those, and they're coming in at the end of the month. So I mean, I down rated my Q3 numbers based on them coming out at the end of the month.
Is
But
Transformers a cartoon movie or is it more of a action?
Transformers 1, I think, is a cartoon movie. Let me pull it up. Transformers. But I'm going to put it on mute.
What do they call it when it's like half?
Can you hear me? I can't hear you all of a sudden. All right. Must have been something about that window I had open. No, it doesn't look like a cartoon.
All right, good. Yeah, because if it's one of those action cinema, cinema, cinema photography or whatever it's called there, those things usually do pretty good. You know, I didn't see any previews for it, so I don't know anything about it. But I actually like Transformers, so I'd probably see that one.
Yeah, I'm going to go see it.
I'm going with you.
Saheb, what's up? Saheb says check out LPSN. LPSN. Live person. I feel like I've done business with this company before.
What is it, Tony?
Let's see. Is that the right ticker? LPSN?
He has written down LPSN. Yep.
Lewis asks, has anybody seen Trap? I did see Trap. I liked it. It's not going to be a blockbuster, but it was a good movie. I'd say go watch it. Live person engages in conversational AI. Enables brands to leverage the cloud's engine to connect with consumers. So I guess when you go in and you live chat with someone on a website, Mediocre, it probably tries to handle the conversation. How long has this company been around? I feel like I, at one point many, many years ago on one of my company websites, used one of their services. Not this AI stuff they have now. And let's pull up the financials on it real quick. Woo. So they did, look at that. They did pull out a positive quarter. Can you see that?
We can only see the chart.
Okay. Hang on. So they went from all negative to a huge profit.
Let's see it.
Live person signed 37 deals consisting of 28 existing and 9 new customers. That's not a ton of customers, but it was enough to get them some decent profits for the quarter, huh?
Well, they signed 37 deals. That's good. I know,
Including one
28 were existing, but
7-figure deal. Damn. Well, I mean, it sounds like if this continues, could be a good investment. They've had a bad run, but maybe they're on the brink of a turnaround.
maybe.
Let's see how everything else looked. Cash was getting low. Current assets 220, liabilities 116, that 161, that's okay. Total assets 703, total liabilities 637. I mean, balance sheet is okay. 58 million working capital. Shareholders equity 66 million. Oh, man. They've just been burning cash and losing money for a long time. But if they start booking more positive quarters like this last one, you might see that stock turn around. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting play.
Let's keep moving.
There's not a ton of red flags, other than they got to keep on signing those deals.
Keep that revenue rolling, baby.
All right, Mediocre. I think we'll wrap it up here. It's 10 o'clock. We did 3 hours. That should give the haters plenty of material to pull 10-second clips from.
You don't want to do 2 more hours. They love it when they're 5-hour long live.
I was forced to watch a 5-hour live stream to get this 10-second clip. Hang on, guys. I watched 3 hours to find one sentence that I didn't like. Let me not share all the good info with you and only tell you the 10 seconds that I didn't like. Here's where Tony Denaro hurt my feelings.
It blows my mind, man.
Cracks me up, Mediocre. I got to go rest up because I got one more day, hopefully the last day of heavy duty maintenance on this vehicle to get it ship shaped to pass state inspection on Monday.
I hope it goes well and smooth for you.
And I'm going to teach my wife how to bleed the brakes, Mediocre. She's going to be in charge of pushing that brake pedal.
Yeah.
But she learns a lot by osmosis. Like, so what's a caliper? What's a rotor? How does that work? I like that she's curious about it. Yeah. But she doesn't help actually do the work, though.
But is she keeping you company and keeping you with some?
She doesn't even watch. She just asks questions later.
She doesn't make sure you're hydrated?
No. She works on the weekends, so she's working like 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And when she gets home, she's trying to rest. So, and that's right when I'm out there working on the truck because it's cool still. It's not blazing hot. Yeah. So I don't expect her to bring me a drink. I'm capable of that. But
no, I hear you.
So
my wife would be out there with an umbrella trying to over the top of me.
I do worry, like if the vehicle, if the jack failed and the jack stands failed, I'd be crushed under there for 12 hours before anybody found me.
That ain't no good.
By the time she woke up, but I do try and take all safety precautions.
I do as well.
We don't want to go out that way, There's a lot of ways to go out of this world. Getting crushed under vehicles not high on my list.
Yeah, mine either. No fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in tonight. I think we covered some interesting topics. Thanks for those of you that suggested some tickers for us to look at. Fubo is an interesting one. Live Persons was an interesting one. Live Person. We talked about GameStop. We talked about AMC. We talked about Mullen a little bit. I got some more GameStop videos and DD coming out. I'm just going to tell you, the people covering GameStop right now hate to be blunt, but don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Other than if you just want to tell me, I believe in Ryan Cohen and just ignore everything I'm talking about the financials because I don't really know what I'm talking about. If you say that, then hey, I'm cool with it. But there's a lot of people acting like they understand what book value is or that it matters. It doesn't matter. If you want to just believe in Ryan Cohen and like that they have $4 billion in cash, then, good enough for me. I like that too, but I think that you should be aware that until they invest that money, nothing's really going to happen with GameStop. So I'll keep being patient and wait for good buys, when the price gets rung down, or if it starts running because of some good news, I will jump in then. I really don't care what price I buy in a run-up, Mediocre. If it's running, we'll play it, right?
That's right.
But when it's just tacking like a sailboat, I'm going to wait for it to tack down. I'm going to wait for it to tack down. So what else? Oh, trading cards. We'll talk more about that in this coming week. And y'all got any other questions or comments? Leave them for me after. If you're watching on replay, leave them for me down below. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. Is it Manicio? Carl, thank you. ERA, thank you. Saheb, thank you. All of my subscribers, Discord members, mods, admins, thank you. I believe I can fly. Manicio says, let's fly. Go see a movie. If you're invested in AMC, the very best thing you can do is not buy more stock right now, not buy call options. Go see a movie. Revenue matters. Box office matters. If you want things to change for this company,
fucking popcorn.
Buy some fucking concessions, people. Mediocre, thank you as well.
Thank you, Tony.
Let me find the 60-second outro.
Good night, chat.
See y'all. We'll see y'all next time.
Let's go. Yeah. I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. I send the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today.